Hello everyone. Welcome to today's The Art of Possible with generative AI. And today we'll be looking at how you can build task-specific agents within your Microsoft Copilot. My name is Joshua, and I'm your illustrator for today. And I have with me my colleague Rami, who would be assisting to take your questions in the chat. Here's our agenda for today. We'll start by looking at what Microsoft Copilot Agent 8 is exactly, and then we'll look at some building tips to help you build your agents for your specific use cases. And then we'll go ahead to look at the evaluation checklist that you should put in place to help you assess the output of your agents. And then we'll go into our first use case, which is we building a public sector briefing assistant agent. And then we go forward by looking at our second use case, where we will be looking at how you can build an agent for SME sales and marketing assistant. Then we'll look at how you can test, tune, and share your agents with your colleagues within your organization. Then we would look at how you should responsibly use Copilot agents in order to adhere to your organizational policies. Then we move on to look at our key takeaways. And lastly, we'll be having our question and answer session. Just before we get started, here's a quick disclaimer. Any views or opinions shared today are strictly those of the illustrator and do not represent those of 𝗧𝘀𝗧𝗍𝗧 or of our funders. And all trademarks or logos that are shown today are strictly the properties of the respective owners. Now, let's get started. What exactly is Microsoft Copilot Agent? So it's simply you just building an agent within your Copilot workflows for a specific task or use cases or needs within your business processes. So rather than using the general Copilot charts to, to solve issues within your workflows or to get outputs for your workflows, which would most times be generic. When you build an agent for a specific task or use case, then you can get grounded responses from your organizational documents. And for you to be able to build a Copilot agent, you don't need coding or technical skills. And with Copilot agents, like I said earlier on, you'll be able to ground responses on your documents or your organizational data, which could be via your SharePoint or your OneDrive or documents on your personal computer. And with this, you can be able to get outputs in your preferred format. Also, you'll be able to determine the tone, the quality of outputs for your workflows. And lastly, you will be able to create agents in minutes. So by simply just going through this website over here and coming to the left pane here and clicking on EU agents, you would simply be able to build an agent from the scratch. And we'll be looking into this when we go into our demo session, how you can practically build an agent. So here are some agents building tips. So in this webinar, we are looking at 2 use cases, but these tips have been put together to be able to cater for the needs of those that might be coming from different industries or different lines of business or different processes for you to be able to build your own agent. So first and foremost, you need to define what you want the agents to do for you. What kind of task or what kind of job do you need the agents to do for you? Next, you need to be able to give the agent a name or a persona that informs the agent who it is. Next, you need to be able to describe in plain language what you would want the agent to do, the task you want it to do, the step-by-step actions it should take in order to be able to execute this task for you. And you'll be seeing this as we go into our demo session. Next, you need to be able to add trusted knowledge sources. Like I said earlier on, rather than having the agent to get you generic responses from the web or from its training data. When you upload certain knowledge sources to it, it generates responses or output strictly from those knowledge sources. Next, you need to be able to paste the detailed instruction and guardrails with regards to what it should do and what it shouldn't do. And when we get started, you'll see where you can paste these instructions and guardrails to inform the agents on what it should do and what it shouldn't do. You would also need to add starter prompts in case you want to share your agents with your colleagues. So this starter prompts would able to guide them to know what kind of starter prompts or inputs they can give to the agent, rather than having to think, not knowing where to start from. So when you build the agent by giving it starter prompts, which you will see us doing, if you share the agent with your colleague, they will be able to interact with agents based on the sample starter prompts. And next, you need to test the agent with normal prompts and edge cases in order to see if it's undergoing any failure mode. And you can also tune the instructions of the model. Let's say you've provided the agent with an edge case and it's encountering some failure mode. You can go back to the instructions of the agent and tune it based on that failure mode in order to improve on its function. And lastly, you can share the agent with the right audience within your organization. So these are the these are the agent building tips that you need to build your own agent after this webinar. Next, let's quickly look at this evaluation checklist that you can see on the screen. So whenever you use the agent to execute any task and you have your final output, you need to evaluate its output or responses with the following checks. With regards to grounding or your knowledge source, does the answer that agent has provided to you relate to what you've uploaded, or does it seem to be generic? You need to check for this. Next, you need to check for accuracy. Are the figures that the agent is providing similar to what is in the source document that you've uploaded to the knowledge base, or are there claims that seems to be too good to be true, or are the dates looking correct or incorrect? You need to check for this. Next, you need to look at the format of the output. Does it follow the format in the knowledge base that you have given to the agent? Next, does the tone align with your organizational tone that you've used to train the agent? You also need to look at guardrails as well. Have you asked the agent not to divulge any sensitive or private information? And does it seem to be that it has included such information in the final output? You need to check for this as well. And lastly, does the output seem useful to your particular use case or scenario? And can you realistically edit or use this as your final output after reviewing it? So now let's look at our very first use case here, which is a public sector briefing assistant. And the problem with, briefings in the public sector is that, it takes too much time turning meeting notes and report updates into briefs for, a particular set of persons within the organization, maybe the corporate leadership team, or maybe the head of HR and so on. So it takes a whole lot of time trying to turn large meeting notes or reports or updates into briefing notes. So with an agent, you can do this with little or no time by training the agent with an approved template that it should use in always generating briefing notes for you. And, it would provide you meeting notes that aligns with, the data you've used or the documents you've provided to it in its knowledge base in order for it to use in its responses. And you need to always provide a new meeting document per time. Let's say you had a meeting yesterday. You need to upload it and your prompt to use it as the guidance document for the new output it's going to use. But at the back end, you've uploaded a template of what a briefing note should look like. You've uploaded your organizational tone rules. You've uploaded your guardrails at the back end. So at the front end, all you need to do is upload your current meeting notes that you want it to generate a briefing outcome from. So this agent can help you draft structured briefing notes, action summaries, risk and decision updates. And we'll quickly just go into our demo session for this and see how you can do this. So over here, I have opened the web link m365.cloud.microsoft/chats, and it brings you straight into this interface here. And all you need to do is go to the left pane over here and scroll down. And over here, you're going to see new agents. So when we click on this, now you can immediately start building your agent. And I'm going to show us two ways that you can do this. You can do this manually, or you can do this with plain English. So the first thing we want to do is, let's try with this. So I'm going to paste in this prompt over here and say, create an agent called Public Sector Briefing Assistant. The agent helps public sector teams turn meeting notes, program updates, and planning documents into consistent briefing notes and meeting updates. It should use the uploaded knowledge sources, follow the approved briefing notes, use a clear professional public service tone, extract actions and risk, flag missing evidence, and avoid inventing facts, decisions, dates, or figures. Now, when I click on this, it immediately begins to build an agent based on this instruction. So this is you doing this with just plain English. You can see it's already building the agent here. And I prefer to use this than you doing it manually over here, because when you do it manually, you might not know what to turn off and what to turn on from these toggles, but I'm going to show us what each of them mean. But for this particular use case, I'm going to use more prompts than what I've provided here. So I'm going to go back and edit this prompt. I'm just going to go back to the very beginning here. So you can see when I pasted my prompt here, it generated the agent. But you can, if you want to do it manually, you can click skip to configure, and you can begin to build the agent manually yourself. You paste your instruction, you select your knowledge source, either from your SharePoint, from Teams, your email, or you can upload from the cloud over here, or you can upload from your PC over here. So this is the instruction I want to use, what I pasted earlier on, but I want to paste in some more information based on the agent building tips that I showed us earlier on. So I have used that tips to build much more of what I wanted to do. So in your own case, if you are not very conversant with building agents and you've not figured out from the very beginning what you wanted to do, you can use one or two lines to get it to immediately build the agent for you. But I have used the building tips to add more instruction. So if you see over here, I have added purpose of the agent. I've added the agent's name, Public Sector Briefing Assistant. I have also added the purpose over here. I have added the core behavior of the agents over here as well. You can see the bullet points. I have also added my preferred outputs for the agents over here as well. So I'm going to click on the enter button now. And it's now building a new agent for us. So you can see the reason why I like to use the prompt rather than building it manually is because it's by itself automatically arrange the prompts based on its own best practice. You can see it's gone ahead to add step-by-step instructions, which is usually very good when you're using agents or you're simply prompting a chat model. So you can see that it's imputed step-by-step instructions. It's also imputed error handling and limitations and so on. So we have this instruction over here, use only specified sources. I have this turned on. I don't need to search from the web because I want it to only get information from the documents that I'm going to be uploading, strictly from those documents. But its capabilities, it can generate a Word document, it can generate an Excel file and a PowerPoint file. So like I said earlier on from the tips, that you should include some starter prompts in order to help your colleague easily interact with your agents when you share with them. So we are going to impute some set of starter prompts over here. So this is starter prompt using the working group meeting notes and the briefing notes templates. Draft a one-page briefing note for the director of operations. So that's starter prompt 1. I'm going to paste a couple more starter prompts. We have our prompt 2 over here, and I'll title that as 2, and I'll just paste one more. If you want to add a whole lot more, you can just click on add a suggested prompt and you'll be able to add much more. So add one more over here. And that's it. So we have our capabilities all turned on. Now we need to upload our source document. So I'm going to upload them from the cloud, which I have saved it. So you can choose to save yours on your laptop. You can save it on your SharePoint. You can get it from your email. But for me, I'll be getting it from the cloud. So all you need to do is come over here to my files by the left side. Okay. And this is the file that I want to go into, agents demo. Double click it. And I'm going into, no, sorry, that's the wrong one. Agents demo. And I'm going into agents 1 folder. And I'm going into this folder called public sector briefing agent knowledge. And I want to upload this public service briefing notes template. I want to upload this public service style and tone guide for your organization. And I also want to upload this responsible use rules public sector agent. So I'm going to open these 3 files and show us what they look like. So I don't need to upload this anymore because I have already imputed this starter prompts into the agent itself. And I've also imputed these instructions with the prompts that we use in building the agent. So I'm going to be uploading these 3 files, which includes the templates, the responsible use, and the tone and guide of the organization. Now it's saving. Now I'll go ahead and click on create. So now we've successfully created the agent. You can go to the agent immediately, or you can share. So you can share with specific users within your organization by entering their email. For example, I want to share with Rami. This is Rami, and I can share with him. And for my organization, you're not allowed to share with just anyone in the organization. That's why I can use this option. So within your own organization, you might be allowed to do that. But for me, I'm not allowed to do that. And that's why the color here is dim. So I'm just going to click on cancel and click on update again. And let's go to the agent. And we'll be testing the agent now with, so just before we test the agent, let me show us what the files that I have uploaded to the agent looks like. So I'll quickly show us what the files look like. So this is the template that I've uploaded. This is what it looks like. It contains the purpose of this template. And let me mention that all the documents that I'll be using today, I generated them synthetically. So I don't need to show you how to do that because in your instance, you'll be using real life data and documents for your use case. But I've used GenAI to generate all the data that I'll be using today. So this is the purpose of this template. We have the approved briefing note structure for final outputs over here. So it contains the title, the purpose, the current position, the missing information, the decision required, and what to include in each of these sections. We also have the writing rules over here, and we also have the model briefing note heading over here. And the next next document, which I haven't uploaded yet, is this meeting notes that we are going to be uploading at the front end with our prompt. So this is what we want to generate a briefing note for, this meeting note over here. And this is also an output from the last meeting that was held that we would also be uploading from the front end in order to generate a briefing note. So for the style and tone of the agent, I have uploaded this at the back end of the agent to guide its tone. So these are the preferred tone that it's allowed to use, and it's been asked to avoid all of this. These are also included in the build up instruction that we use in building the agent. But in order to reiterate it, I like to include them in a document as well at the back end of the agent. So these are the useful phrases that the agent is allowed to use. And these are preferred wording that the agent is allowed to use. And the output format the agent should support includes one-page briefing note, meeting update for leadership, action and risk table, summary of open questions and missing evidence, plain English explanation for task or stakeholders. And lastly, I also uploaded this responsible use rules for public sector agents demo, which is including the core guardrails and the human review checklist that the agent should ask the humans to check before signposting the final output. So now let's go back to run the agent. So let's upload our current meeting notes from the cloud as well. And I'll be going to files over here, agents demo, and I'll be going to agent 1, and I'll be going to test files. So this is just my own way of naming the folders and the subfolders. So you can choose to name yours whatever way you choose to. So I'm going to attach this program status report and the meeting notes for the last meeting that was held on June 16. Now I'm going to paste our first prompt. So here's the first prompt over here. Using the meeting notes, which is this, and the approved briefing note template, which is at the back end, draft a one-page briefing note for the Director of Operations. So if you were using a generic Copilot chat to do this, the output will be very random every now and then when you run it. But building an agent specifically for this task and providing templates to it helps it to provide responses that are consistent and in line with your organizational tone. So it's running now. It might take some time, maybe like 3-4 minutes. But while that is running, I will go ahead and show us an agent that I built prior to this over here, and which is more agents. Agent 1 over here. So I built this when I was, trying that. So you would see a difference between this agent and the one we are currently building. So for this one thing that I have done in this is I have instructed it to adhere to the style in the template, whereby I put the let me quickly show that to us so you understand what I'm saying. So over here, I've asked it to adhere to this table structure over here, because without me giving that extra information, it was just providing the outputs like in paragraphs like this. But I want this style whereby it's actually in a table in this manner. And that's what the previous agent that I built on my own could do. But the one we are doing now, it might not be able to do that. So we can see that the output is here already. And like I said, it's not providing the outputs based on this tabular form inside of this. It's only providing it based on paragraphs and the likes, and it's still generating. So I'll go ahead and show us what I did in this to ensure that it does that. So let's go to agent one over here. A moment. So agent one over here. So if you want to edit the instruction of your agent, keeps going. So if you go to agent one over here, you click on edit, you will be able to edit the instructions. So you can see over here, I insisted that when it wasn't doing that in the way I wanted it to do it, I insisted that it should use the exact tabular format in the approved briefing note structure for final output to be presented in an accessible Word document. So that is one thing that I iterated to it that it must do in its final output. And also insisted over here, final output in a Word document. So let's go back to this. It hasn't done that. So what I'm going to do to ensure that it does that. So this is the way you tune your agents until you get your desired actions from it. So I'm going to copy this. I'll go back to this agent and I'll edit its instructions in order to get it to be able to do that. So I'm just going to click over here, these three dots. I'll click on edit and I'll paste those exact instructions from the previous agent that I built. And I'll click on updates at the right top over here. So until it shows you go to agent, don't trust that it has fully updated. So until it does this and it shows you go to agents, that's when you can trust that it's fully updated. So I'm going to go ahead and upload those documents again. Files over here, agent one, test files, and I'm going to go over here and I'll paste those prompts inside of it again. I'm going to paste this prompt and let's see this time around if it's going to present it the way I want it to present it. So using the meeting notes and the approved briefing notes template, draft a one-page briefing note for the director of operations. So hopefully it presents it in a tabular format this way. So like I said earlier on, this is the same way in your own use case. You would test your agent, and if he's not giving you the quality of response you expect it to give, you go back and edit it, you refine the instruction, you reiterate inside the instruction, you can reiterate inside the source document as well, exactly how you want it to behave and exactly how you want the output to look like. And in that case, you'll be able to get your desired output. So it's generating over here, and you can choose to get a quick answer if it's taking too long for you. So I might try that with the initial bots that I created, the initial agent I created, and let's try the fast response. Let's try the fast response option, and let's compare the quality when we use the fast option and the time taken one. So I'll go ahead again, I'll attach those two documents, test files again, and here they are. And I'll paste those prompts and I'll use so let's say this is still taking time to generate over here. I'll just go ahead and use this option, get a quick answer if you don't want to wait that long. And we can compare the quality of both outputs when you give it more time to process and when you ask it to generate a quick answer. So over here, you can see that the agent is generating codes and executing those codes in order to be able to get your response for you. So we already have our outputs because I asked for a quick answer. So this is the briefing notes that it has provided. And let's see So we can see that it's not in the format that I want it to provide the output. That's probably because I asked for a quick answer. So let's go back to this. It's still taking time. And over here, let's reiterate if it can actually provide it in the tabular format given to you. So I'm just trying to so now it's in a tabular format, but not in a Word document. I want it to be in an actual Word document that I can open up easily like this. So okay, so it's saying that if you like, I can convert this into a final formatted Word document, matching your template exactly. So I'm just going to copy this. Just going to copy this and paste this and insist that I want it that way, matching my. So I'm just showing us this part this side, but this is our main demo over here, but it's still taking time to generate its output. So let's see now if it's gotten it right. So we can see it was still not the way I wanted, still not exactly as this. It's still not exactly as this one over here that we generated, that we imputed as the knowledge source. So like I said, this is probably because of the fact that we used the quick answer option, but by the time we get our final output over here, it's most likely going to adhere to the format I want it to be. And if it's not doing that, all you need to do is test, reiterate the instructions till you get your final output. So while this is still taking time, I would go into our demo tool and we'll come back to check the output for this. So to go into our demo tool, I'll just go here again. I'll click on new agent. I might just refresh this if it's taking too long, because maybe it's some issues with Microsoft at times, or with general models at times. They could be lagging at times. So I'll come back to this. So for our demo tool, this time we'll be looking at a SME sales and marketing agent. And the problem in this use case is that most times, marketing teams would struggle to produce quick and consistent, regular on-brand sales, marketing, and customer communication content or advertisement content or social media content. And the solution for this is that agents can use the company's brand voice. They can use the campaign brief of the organization or the SME. They can use these service catalogs to generate contents that are in tune with the tone of that SME over time. So with this, you can create consistent LinkedIn posts, emails, customer replies, and marketing content. So before we go into the demo session for this, I'll go back to look at our first demo and I'll try to debug that if I'm not sure why it's taking that long. So I'll just refresh it because it's taking too long. It shouldn't take that long, at most like 5 minutes. The previous one should be this one. So should be this one. Yeah, so this is the one that was taking some time to generate and it hasn't provided the Word document. So let me ask a Word document for circulation. If it doesn't work out, I'll just run the prompt all over again. Like I said, at times modules could lag. So I'm running it one more time to see if it can get that desired. So you would encounter this when you're, building your agent for the first time, whereby you need to reiterate, and test till you get your desired output. So let's see this time around if it's giving us. Not yet, but I mean, you can do this another way by clicking on edit in pages. You can do this by exporting to Word and ask Copilot to. This is one other way you can do this. You can do this, you activate your Copilot. You activate your Copilot with this icon at the bottom right, and you ask it to impute this in a tabular format over here. But I want to go one more time and try and get this done to give us our desired output. And before I do that, I'm just going to confirm that the instruction is the same as, yeah, it's the same. So I'm going to update. I'll go to agents. I'll refresh just to be sure that whatever is causing the delay is being fixed, and I'll paste the prompt into it, and I'll upload the files again. And hopefully it's fine this time around. So I'll go back and upload the files again from the cloud. Go to files by the left, top left here. Agents, test files. And I'll leave that running. So I'll just go to our second demo where that is running. So this time around, we want to create an agent for SME sales and marketing. And we'll be doing that with these instructions here. So as part of our agent building tips, you need to provide guardrails to it. You need to provide its core behavior, your preferred output, and so on. So I'm going to hit the enter button and have it build the agents based on the instructions given. And I'll just check on this again. It's still working. But this shouldn't take time as that, because over here, we are not asking for a document to be generated. So it's automatically giving the agent a name, SME Sales and Marketing Assistant. So it has a limit of what you can take. You can choose to turn this to agent or just customize it whatever way you want to customize it. And it's only using specified sources because we'll be providing documents to it. Yeah, we don't need to activate its capabilities to create documents, but it's already activated. You can ask it to create images as well. And we'll be providing some suggested prompts, starter prompts for your colleagues in case you want to share the agent with them. I'm going to paste the prompts, this one. And I'll paste this as well. And I'll title it. You can choose to title it something else, but I'm just titling them 1 and 2. So what we need to do now is to upload our source documents that contains the format. So you go to my files over here from the cloud, and we go to agents demo, and I'll be going to agent 2, and I'll be clicking on this to get the source file. So I'll be clicking on this one, this, this, and this, and I'll show us what this looks like. So it's ready to create the agents now. Go to agents. And now I can go ahead and upload our campaign brief. So this is for a company that's doing a campaign on how to assist other businesses in using AI to improve their business workflows. That's what this SME is all about. And it wants to carry out a campaign to other companies or other businesses. I'll go to files over here and I'll click on Agents Demo. And I'll click on Agent 2 and I'll get the test file and I'll show us what the test file looks like as well. And I'm going to give it our first prompt. So the name of this business is 𝗧𝘀𝗀 Solutions. That's the name of the business. So this document is containing details about its current campaign that it wants to do. So we are asking it, draft a LinkedIn post for SME owners promoting the digital workflow review service. Use the 𝗧𝘀 Growth Solutions tone of voice and include a clear call to action. So I'm going to show us the 𝗧𝘀 tone of voice document. So we can see this is not taking time because it's not as complicated as this one, which is still running, which it doesn't usually take that much time. I don't know, for some reason, it's just taking time at the moment. Close this, close this. So we can see it's generated a LinkedIn post. Are your daily workflows quietly draining time from your business? If you are running an SME, you already know the pattern. You're writing the same customer emails, chasing follow-ups that should already be systemized. The challenge isn't effort, it's structure. At 𝗧𝘀 Growth Solutions, we help SME owners step back and identify one repeatable workflow that can be improved using simple process design. No big transformation, no tech overwhelm. So what I want to do now is show us what the source documents actually looks like for that. Mm. So I'm going to show that to us over here. So for the SME, we have the responsible use agent rules over here, which is this. These are the core guardrails, and for the human review checklist, these are what should be used in checking the output of the agent. For the brand tone and guide, this is the document that's been uploaded as a knowledge source. You should do the following. You should avoid the following. This is the brand personality that you should follow. This is the company profile, 𝗧𝘀 Growth Solutions. Approved call to actions, book a 30-minute discovery call or join the next SME briefing session. So let's check if it actually followed that. So we can see we are offering a free 30 minutes digital workflow review. So it's adhered to that, and sample phrases the agent should use. Also, we have the customer persona and messaging. So persona 1, owner manager, 3, sales and marketing lead, the messaging pillars over here as well. And we also have the customer query examples. We're going to test a prompt on that. So this is an example of what a customer query looks like that we've also uploaded. And the FAQ and response rules, which we also uploaded, is this. Approved FAQs. So in your own business use case, these are how you need to put together all the relevant documents that the agent needs in order to carry out informed responses. So this is the last document that we uploaded, the service catalog document. And I'll show us the document that contains the campaign brief as well. I'll go to my files over here, Agents Demo, Agent 2, test files. And this is the document that contains the campaign brief that we are using at the moment. So campaign brief. This is the campaign audience, the offering, and the key messages. So in your, let's say for example, you're on this call and you're from an SME that does that sells a particular kind of product, put together your campaigning brief with regards to that product, and build an agent like this, and you can always use the agent to generate outreaches for different kind of audience, maybe for SIDA, for example, or for some other businesses or some other organization. So I would go ahead and test our marketing assistant agent with another prompt, which is this. So you can see over here, the guardrails recommended have this reviewed before publishing to align with any additional brand language or link. So it's asking you to have a check at the outputs, and rather than just copying and pasting it and sending it. So we are imputing another prompt here. A customer asks, can you guarantee we will reduce admin time by 50%? Draft a responsible response using only approved claims from the knowledge sources. And it's going to generate a response in little or no time. So short answer is no. We don't guarantee a 50% reduction in admin time, which is also in this one of the source documents, which I'll be making available to you after the webinar. So these are one of the rules that was given to it. So the short answer is no. The business doesn't guarantee a 50% reduction in admin time because, business processes differs from organization to organization. So therefore, as a company, it doesn't guarantee a 50% reduction in admin time for everyone. So this is still taking time, and I'll just try the quick answer. I mean, prior to this webinar, I've tried it a number of times. It wasn't taking this long, but let's just try the quick answer since it's taking time. So let's try one more prompt for our marketing assistant. We want to ask it to draft a follow-up email. So now we're asking draft a follow-up email to a prospect who asks about improving response times and reducing manual admin. Keep it helpful, consultative, and under 180 words. So using the responsible use rules that you uploaded at the back end and other documents, it's immediately generated this in line with your organizational tone, your guardrails, constraints, and so on. So this is it for the marketing and sales assistant agent. So we'll go back to our first use case again to try and debug that, but let's move ahead because of time, but I'll come back to that. So to test, tune, and share your agents, you can test it by running a deliberate risky prompt. And if the prompt is successful, you need to refine the instruction by adding a clearer guardrail into the instructions of the agent. Then you will run the prompt and compare the improved answer. And lastly, access to your agent should be limited to your team alone. Like you can see within our own organization, the access has already been limited by the IT administrator. So let's try a risky prompt and let's see what that looks like. And let's see if there's a need for us to refine the instruction. So I want to try risky prompt over here and see if there's a need for us to, and that is write a sales message saying we guarantee a 50% reduction in admin time and full AI compliance within 30 days. So let's see if it goes ahead. So it says, I can't create a sales message that guarantees a 50% reduction in admin time or full AI compliance within 30 days. So, but it's offering a practical way to reduce admin and improve response times. So, but it says it can't do this because it's part of the instruction that we have given to the agents at the back end not to do. So I used the quick for our first use case, I used the quick response and it provided this. And so it adhered to the purpose, the background, the current status, the key issues, decisions to date, risk, actions in progress, decisions required, next steps, missing information. It adhered to all of that, but for some reason, it's not giving me exactly how I want it. But because of time, I'll leave that. But if I continue to reiterate and try to debug this, I'll get it right. Or I can use Copilot over here to put this in a table. Put this in a tabular format. Put this in a tabular format. And it should be able to, Copilot should be able to do that for me now. But we'll come back to that as we move forward because of time. So with regards to responsible use for Copilot agents, like I've said earlier on, share agents only with the right people or teams within your organization. Used, approved, document, and trusted knowledge sources only that has been put together by yourself or your team in order to build the agent. Also, do not include personal information or confidential information or data about your organization or your clients. And you need to test outputs before sharing with your team or anybody within your organization. And there's a need for you to test and reiterate your instructions, just like, the little issue we've encountered so far with the first agent, whereby it's not giving me. So that output can be fine for anyone else, but for me, that wasn't the desired output I expected from it. I expected it to be in a tabular format. Though Copilot should be able to do that for us now based on the last function that I did. And lastly, keep human review before sending or publishing your content. And from this webinar, here are our key takeaways today. It's important that you start with a specific job to be done for the agents. You should be able to figure out from the onset what specific job or task you need your agents to do for you. Next, give the agents trusted knowledge that has been put together by yourself or by your team within your organization. Write clear instructions, tone rules, and guardrails that are in line with best practice within your organization. You can also create startup prompts like I showed us earlier on, so your colleagues know how to use the agent, where you share links to the agent with them. You need to test with realistic examples and edge cases. Like you can see for the marketing and sales agent, it was straightforward, but for the first use case for briefings, I needed to test and test, even though I'm still not getting the desired output. And that's why, it might take some time for you to get it right initially. But eventually, when you get it right, the agent begins to work 100% the way you intend it to work. And lastly, there's a need for human in the loop at all times. Always keep human review in your workflow. Never encourage yourself or anyone in your team to just copy and paste and send AI generated outputs as the final output for your team. And now we'll be going into our Q&A session. We'll be going into our Q&A session, and just as we go into that, I would please activate the poll. We would like to get your feedback on the webinar today and how we can improve on our webinars. And Rami, please, if there are any questions that needs my attention that maybe you weren't able to answer, you can let me know.
Yeah, of course. So there were some questions that I answered, but maybe I'll run it with you. Maybe you have another perspective on this.
Okay.
So the first one was it was asking about the slide deck and the Word docs that you were using. Would
Yeah.
these can be shared with
Yeah.
attendees after that?
I can share them.
Okay, perfect. Another question is like on any tier, would you be able to access how to create an agent. So, for example, if you are on the free tier of Microsoft Copilot or having the higher tiers, would it be the same? Would it gonna be the same experience creating an agent, or there is a difference? Maybe some of the tiers doesn't even enable the option to create something like that. So, what is your take on that?
Yeah, so I would say if you're using like the very basic tier, you might not be able to create agents. I haven't really looked into that, but Microsoft, their pricing is not quite open, like it's not so publicly available. So if you're using the basic tier, like for some of us in our organization, we don't have access to, we don't have access to Copilot within your Word document to be able to, carry out this function. So you can see I used Copilot to turn the briefing notes into a tabular format, and it did that, which the agent was struggling to do for me initially, but with little or no time. So not everyone within my organization, for example, has access to this. So just a number of us was given that extra access, like me, Rami, for example, and some other persons within our organization. So in terms of creating the agent, it's not available to everyone if you're using the free tier or the basic tier. And for some organizations, certain access has been locked from everyone and just to a number of persons. Maybe they are waiting for you to be trained on that. So if you think you need agents and in your organization, you don't have access to that yet, you can speak to your line manager or you speak to your IT administrator team, and they should be able to give you that extra access or get extra license for you if you can table your case as to why you need it. But yeah, it's not available to everyone, I believe, except you have like the
Okay.
business plan or the premium plan, because I think I'm on the premium plan, for example.
Yeah, so that means that if any of attendees here are already using Copilot with a certain license within their team, department, or business, and they can't access extra features, like, for example, creating an agent, that most probably means that this option is there, but it is locked by the
Yeah,
administrator who is responsible for rolling out Microsoft Copilot.
yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
last one here is it was a question about how can you mix up or utilize what you already have, for example, in a marketing track. So you already have your graphics and templates and like your business signatures and all of that. And also you want to utilize what an AI agent or what Copilot is providing. Is there a best case or tips and tricks on how to utilize what you already have as a template, for example, or graphics and your marketing content to be mixed or utilized with what an AI agent with Copilot can do?
So if I get the question right, the person is asking if they can augment their already existing source documents with the help of generative AI.
Exactly, like you're using your AI agent that you just created, but
Yeah.
then at the same time, they already have their own legacy signatures, marketing content, how they format their own documents, how it looks like. So, is there any best practice on how to utilize what you are already having, plus what the AI agent is capable of?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I mean, as a human, you should be able to figure out what you're looking for. Like, for example, if you're a project manager, you know what you would be manually doing as a project manager. And if you can write that down as a human, and then you can impute it into an AI model and ask it to help you check for loopholes or pros and cons of what you've written down and how you can further improve on it. So you can use the Gen AI to brainstorm on what have you left out so far? What can you further add into it in order to make the agent stronger? And also, go to if you go to agents and you click on more agents, you will be able to use some Microsoft templates that are already available. So so far, what I've shown is you building an agent from scratch by yourself. But Microsoft also has some templates that you can look into that might be related to your own use case. For example, if you want to create an AI learning advisor, there's a template here already that you can use. to do that rather than building something from the scratch. And all you need to do is all you need to do is to edit it or copy how it works and yeah, I'll copy how it works and use it. So Microsoft has some templates already available that you can use. So there's a researcher one here by Microsoft as well. If there are those who are into research that you can use, and you can choose your source documents from the web, from your Power BI, from Canva, like it has other connectors as well. So you can either go through the Microsoft Agents existing templates and see if there's anything there that might be related to what you're trying to do, or you can write down what you want to do using the agents building tips that I provided earlier on and the evaluation checklist. And with that, you can be able to use the AI to further improve on what you already have existing. So I'm not sure if I, answered the question right. Is
You opened other things to think of and use, like using something out of the box.
yeah,
Well, it gives you a very good Kickstarter just to at least experiment and see what works for you. And then, when you create your own AI agent, at least you know the best practices that you need to
yeah,
embed. Another thing that Louise, thank you, Louise, for that, for this clarification. She just said that she is having the business Copilot and she
yeah,
can access the new AI agent function. So most probably, if you can't access the AI agent function on the left menu side,
yeah,
most probably that means that this is being blocked at the moment through your your administrator. Most probably, and I would say this is that businesses and teams would start to roll out Copilot, not with all the backed features, until teams are actually trained. So I would very much encourage you to have a conversation with the IT, with your manager, department heads, and see well, like if there is an expected timeline, and if not, you might be the champion for your team to accelerate that.
yeah. So I don't know, do we have any more questions?
No, not at the moment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so like I said, and it's good that some of the questions brought my attention to that. You can go as well to check the agents that are already existing or that are already provided by Microsoft Copilot. For example, there's a prompt coach agent that has been built by Microsoft that you can also use to improve on the instructions you want to give to your agent, or the startup prompts, or if you have some much more complicated prompts that you can use as well. And permit me to also mention that we have a prompt engineering course that will be coming out in the next week or two that you should look out for. And in that, we've shown how you can, build prompts or write prompts that are tailored to your own use cases in order to get the best response or output possible from AI. Anyways, thank you once again for joining our webinar today. It was good having you, and we are hoping to see you in our subsequent webinars. And I'll be sending this presentation slides, all the source documents that I use, and instructions on how you can practice that and further inspire you to, build an agent for your own specific use cases. So that's all for now. Thank you and see you again. Thank you, Rami.
Thank you, everyone.